Hello and welcome. Today we'll be making gluten-free bread. All right, let's get started. I'll have all of the ingredients listed in the description box. Okay, so we're going to start off now by adding our active yeast to warm water. And we're going to let that sit for 5 minutes. Here we go. And to that also, we're going to add sugar. We're going to use 1/4 cup sugar. And then we're going to add that to a large bowl. So we're going to let it sit for 5 minutes first. And that's what it should look like. You'll see the little yeast bubbles just dispersing and hanging out on top. All right, now that we have them in a large bowl, we're going to go ahead and add our oil. We're using 1/4 cup vegetable oil. And we're going to stir all that together to blend it in. Get it all incorporated. We're using 6 cups of gluten-free gluten-free flour. And then to the yeast mixture after 5 minutes, we're going to start adding our flour 1 cup at a time. The first cup is a little it's all that liquid. So you just kind of want to smash them on the side a little bit to kind of get them to break up. But after that first cup, everything is a lot more smoother to blend. I could have used the stand mixer, but this recipe is so big. It calls for 6 cups of flour, which will make 2 loaves of bread. So, and it's not easier. It wasn't really hard to mix it by hand. It was actually a lot of fun. And this bread is a fun thing to do, especially right now when the holiday season is coming up, and it's a good family-friendly activity, for the kids. Kids would love it, and because of the holidays, a lot of these breads can be made and given, to friends and family and co-workers as a Christmas gift, neighbors, even Thanksgiving gifts. So you're gonna just keep adding the flours 1 cup at a time. Now, because this recipe makes 2 loaves of bread, I chose this time to leave one of the loaves plain, and the other I did a little medley of sun-dried tomatoes and basil for the other one, and it turned out super amazing. So with that being said, if you decide you want to do something like that, it would be so awesome to use craisins or raisins or any type of apricot dried fruit. You just want to cut them up really small and just kind of add it to the bread, and you'll see the process closer to the end after we're done kneading and getting the bread all set up to bake. You'll see how I did that. But yes, you can use chocolate chips, make like a raisin bread type thing with some cinnamon and raisins. And as a topper, you could use sesame seeds. You can use the white sesames, and then there's also the black sesame seeds. You can use those as well. And if you're a fan of pumpkin seeds, they go well on top, as well as oats or sunflower seeds. So you can do so many different things with these breads if you like. I'll sometimes just leave them plain, Now the one with the sun-dried tomatoes and basil, that one is so good with cream cheese and pepper jelly. That's a really good treat with them. They're good for avocado toast. They're good just plain with butter, or just a snack. So they're really, really, really good breads, and they're gluten-free. All right, so I think we're on the 3rd cup of flour, and you can see as we get closer and closer to the last few cups of flour how much easier the dough is blending with the liquid. It's not very hard at all. It was really a lot of fun to do it. I do this all the time. I have a library of breads that I will be sharing with you guys throughout this journey. And if there's a bread that you like, just leave it in the comments and let me know, and I'll try my best to accommodate. Yes, so if you have any ideas on breads or any meals, any Southern comfort foods, just let me know, and we can definitely make it happen for you. But yeah, and also you want to keep a spatula handy for the dough that's on the the spoon and always scrape around the sides of your bowl so that everything is incorporated. No ingredients left behind, because everything we measured out to put in this bread is definitely needed. So we need it all to stay in the dough. All right, so here we go. I think this is cup number 5, and this is going to be the same. Just keep blending and blending and blending, and then it's going to all come together. You'd be surprised how well it comes together. It took me a long time to get used to making breads, but it's one of my favorite things to make, and I have a recipe for baguettes. So amazing. You guys are going to love those. I am a New Orleans native, and we have po' boys, but I don't live in New Orleans right now, so it's every time we go out to eat, it's always hard to get a po' boy. And what people don't realize that aren't from there, it's not the shrimp, it's not the oysters, it's not the fish, it's not the hot sausage, it's the bread that really pull these things together. We are a bread city, and it's in the bread. So that's where our biggest struggle is, the bread. So the baguettes that I make are close to those as possible. We like that crunch, you know? Yeah, so we'll be making some baguettes as well. All right, so there we go. We just want to cut in and keep going. I think that's our last cup. Yeah, I'm just talking away, but I believe that's our last cup. So here we have it. You'll see how everything's going to come together. Look, all gloom and doom right now, but it's going to all come together so that we can go ahead and turn it out onto the counter and get into the kneading. With the kneading process for that, you just want to knead for about 3 to 5 minutes, nothing more. Don't want to disturb all the yeast and everything that it has going on. So you just want to just get it, smooth enough or just combined, bring it all together enough so that it can sit in that oil for 30 minutes and rise to the occasion so that we can move on to the next step. There we go. Yep, there we go. As we see, it's coming together. It's still a little sticky, though it may look dry. So that's why I have an extra little cup with flour, just to put some flour on the countertop. And you want to get a good little bit, about that much. Maybe that looks like maybe 2 tablespoons maybe or less, a little less than 2 tablespoons of flour for that first go round. And then thereafter, and you want to just kind of flour your hands. Put the flour in your hands. It makes it a lot easier. So here we go. I think I might have to have floured it another time after this one a little bit, because it's still going to be a little sticky, but that's okay. So once you put it in the bowl to rest, it's still going to be a little sticky. So before you start anything, I would recommend go ahead and get your oven set at 350 degrees so that you can be ready to put that bread in the oven. When it's time, the oven be nice and hot, which makes the bread bake a lot better. And then also the other bowl that you see, I showed you there, with the 1/4 cup of vegetable oil for the dough to sit in and rise. And you want to take that dough and flip the dough over on each side so that both sides can have the vegetable oil on them. So there you go, just folding and rolling, just to incorporate that bread. Folding and rolling. Yep, one more little time because it's still sticky. So that'll be the last time. It won't need any more. I think that will do it, but it's still going to have a little stickiness. Again, like I said, it's perfectly fine. We're not altering the recipe a whole lot. So I think a total maybe 2.5 tablespoons of flour was needed for the counter knead. So there we go. For this final knead, I'm going to just flour my hands. Yep, there we go. Fold and roll. Just keep your hands nice and floured, and that'll help a lot better. Fold and roll. There we go. It's coming together now. You can almost feel it when it's coming together. Because the more, all that rolling too, sometimes you can over roll it and your bread will come out really dense and flat and horrible. I've had that to happen when I first started, and that's not a good feeling because you spend all that time and all your little ingredients getting this bread together and it's just a flop. So yeah, and it's not a good feeling. All right, so see, that's enough there. So you just want to swirl that oil around that bowl to make sure that every area is covered. And there we go. Just flip it over. There we go. And then you have your kitchen towel handy, or a tea towel, so that you can cover the dough. And you look at it now, and then when you see it again, it's going to be double that size. So you just want to cover that for a little bit and just set it aside. There we go. And just turn it out onto the counter. Look at it. Beautiful. So soft and so fluffy. And at this stage, it's just, you want to just do the same. You want to fold and roll. And with this stage, there's a lot of like air bubble, like bubbles. Little bubbles, just like ciabatta bread. I make a good ciabatta bread, and it has all those little bubbles in it. So you want to get all those bubbles out. So basically, punch it, get those bubbles out, and then after you can, you'll see when the bubbles are out, and you'll feel it as well. And then you can go ahead and we'll cut this in half and make our 2 separate loaves. And the 2 9x5-inch loaf pans are sitting there. I lightly buttered them with vegan butter and lightly dusted them with some of the flour. And so they'll be ready. That's bubbles right there. They'll be ready to receive that bread in a minute. Yep. So there we go. There we go. Again, not to be manipulating the dough too much. There you go. Seam side down. And you get it positioned to where you can see that it's as even as you can possibly get it to cut it. If you don't have a bread cutter, you can always use a very sharp knife to cut this dough in half. Get a nice clean cut. There we go. That's it. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and fix up the plain loaf first and put the other aside until we're done. So we're just going to give this a good little knead, a light knead, and shaping at the same time. We're going to form it into a loaf so that we can get it ready to position into the loaf pan. So that's a 9x5-inch loaf pan. You'll need 2 of them, and you want your oven set at 350 degrees, and you're going to bake these loaves for 30 minutes. You'll see how golden brown. That's all it needs is 30 minutes. And also you want to have some butter ready as soon as they come out the oven, so that you can brush the tops inside with some butter. If you'd like, you don't have to, but you give it a little brush of butter. And sometimes if you like, with some people, I have not done this, but you can sprinkle a little salt on top if that's something you like. But I have not. I don't like, not too much into the salt thing. There we go. And then it's so much elasticity, you can kind of pull it up, stretch it out a little bit. See that? Yeah, to give it some shape long enough to fit in the pan. All right, you just want to set that one aside. And then we'll start on the other one. So this one is the sun-dried tomatoes and basil that we're going to be adding to this loaf. And with the sun-dried tomatoes, what I did was kind of just put a little bit water in them just to hydrate them a little bit. No running over water. They don't have to float in the water. Just some water to dampen them for a little bit. And then it makes it easier for it to receive the flour. So you just want to dust them a little bit with flour, add the basil to it, stir it all together, mix it all together. It will stick to the dough a lot easier than just putting the dry basil and sun-dried tomatoes in them, because they'll poke through the bread if they're not. So you just want to give them a little hydration, hydrate them a little bit. So there we go. So that's the basil and sun-dried tomatoes there. I kind of cut them in chop them in, nice sized pieces, and then just spread them around. And you can put as much as you want or as less as you want. I think I did maybe a tablespoon of each and combine them together. Just enough to spread around for one loaf. And you can be so creative with this. You can really be so creative with this bread. There we go. And once this is done, once all the sun-dried tomatoes and basil is in place, we're going to cut this in half. We're going to cut this loaf in half and stack on top of the other. You'll see here. Cut it in half. And then we're just going to take it and just roughly stack it. You don't have to even it together. It's better this way instead of together. And then we're just going to roll and lightly knead until all the fruit, all the vegetables, the tomatoes and basil are covered. They're not showing. So you just want to keep rolling and folding. So we're going to give it another fold, a couple of more folds and rolls so that we're not seeing any of the tomatoes and basil coming through the dough. There we go. Just fold it and roll it. There we go. There we go. Fold it and roll it. And it's so amazing how neat that come together. It's such a unique, very unique technique there. So there we go. You can put cheese. Yeah, you can do a cheese. You can roll it with cheese. There's so many things that you can put here in this bread. And if you make it, please let me know in the comments if you made it. Yes. That's why it's so important to stay to the end, because you would have missed something like this. And this is so important and so cool. It's the holidays. These make perfect gifts. You can go Dollar Tree and find little pans or different little things that you can put those in and decorate with to give as gifts for like people at work, or your neighbors or family and friends. Yeah, there we go. And then you just want to cover that and let it sit for 15 minutes till it doubles in size, and there we are. So we got it on the rack, ready to be placed in the oven. All right. So we're going to bake this for 30 minutes and watch what comes out of that oven next. Look how beautiful that is. It is so pretty and so crunchy, and it smells so good. Smells so good. It's amazing how something that simple, how 6 ingredients can feed a family. And the ingredients are stuff that you have in the house already. It's not like you would have to go out and grab too much of anything. If you don't have sun-dried tomatoes, I'm sure you have something there that you can put in the bread. If you don't have gluten-free flour and you're not gluten intolerant, then you can use all-purpose flour. The recipe still stands the same. So look at that bread, how beautiful it is. It is so delicious. So delicious. Good for sandwiches, kids' lunches, your lunch, snacks, breakfast, avocado toast, peanut butter and jelly. Believe me, I had all of them with it. I've had them all. So good. So good, so good, so tasty. And there we go. I really, really appreciate you guys staying to the end of my video and supporting my channel. Please keep coming back. I have a lot more to share, and I want to interact with you. So please leave a comment or a suggestion, or if you have any questions about the bread, I check back periodically and I will answer. I will respond. If you have any questions, just let me know. And if you have any ideas of a recipe or bread, let me know. All right.